Hey people of the VC, it's Andy. Cloudy, a milder competition entry time. This time for the Rock Scout. Scott from Scotland actually lives in the same city as me in Edinburgh. We haven't had a meetup yet, but I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. In fact, on when I did the competition entry for Farley's and we were talking about who we should and shouldn't meet up, and I said there were some obvious ones in the UK that will probably have a chance to meet up. I completely forgot to mention Scott, and he's the one that lives the nearest to me. He's probably only a couple of miles away, so it will probably happen with him first before those other ones I mentioned. So apologies, Scott. It's probably too close to home to remember. So check out Scott's channel. Great guy, does some really interesting videos, always gets involved in the competitions and the thread responses and does update videos. Metal guy, and in fact now I've known he's in, half the records he shows are ones that I should be buying. He's getting to the shops before me, so that's probably the only downside of having someone like Scott in the VC that lives in the same city as me, is he's stealing my records. But I don't begrudge him. He's a nice guy. So in your competition, you asked two questions, or you didn't ask. They're not really questions. One of them was Scott likes his tattoos, fancies himself as a bit of a tattoo artist and has tattoos himself. And he wanted us to show albums that have tattoos on them. I think it was 10. And then he wanted us to give him a recommendation of a release in 2018. Now, when I started going through my albums, I didn't think I'd have that many, so I started pulling out everything that had the smallest inkling of a tattoo on that. I've ended up with probably about 20, and rather than sift through and put back, I'm going to show the lot. So I'm not really showing off. It's just that I've pulled them, so I'm going to show them. And I'm also going to give you two recommendations as well for this year, and one of them is tied to the tattoo question as well. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with the recommendations. So this band here, called Midnight Force. They're a band from Glasgow, so local Scottish band. Now this isn't the new release. This is their self-released, I guess, EP, 5-song EP. That was called Restless Blade. They're a traditional metal band. They're kind of Maiden influence, but sort of quite progressive as well, and lots of sort of medieval type songs, but not Viking metal at all. They're really good, and they've got an album coming out on the 24th of February called Dunsinane, I think it is. I'll leave a link below to a YouTube video of one of the singles from that. I saw them last year, maybe even the year before now, at Bannerman's. They're from Glasgow, so they don't play in Edinburgh too often, even though it's not that far away. But they were awesome when I saw them live, and I can't wait to hear what they're doing with their first album. So that's a recommendation, but also I've got another recommendation, and this is going to go into the second question. So Seven Sisters, again another of the newer traditional metal playing bands. This was an absolute killer release from 2016, one of my favourite albums from that year. Okay, it's not real tattoos, it's a picture of a guy, but he's clearly got tattoos on his arms. But Seven Sisters' second album is coming out this year as well, so I thoroughly recommend Seven Sisters. So if you wanted just 10, just choose any of these 10 as competition entries. I'm not looking for more entries. Zodiac Mindwarp, you can just about see, he has a snake all the way down his arm, you can just about see it there. So as I say, some of these were borderline because I wasn't sure I was actually going to find them. But it wasn't until I started looking through and realised I probably had more than I thought I did. Chris Holmes, Wasp, quite heavily tattooed on his arms. And also, these are my favourite types of videos to do, ones where I have to go in and discover something on my albums and find out things I never knew before. I've got a compilation here. So this is Hannah Rocks, with a Hannah Rocks tattoo. This guy as well has also got a tattoo. I'm not quite sure which band this is, so if you know, let me know. It's one of those ones on the front. Not sure. This one, I don't know if these are cheating, but this is a drawing. But the drawing of the guy's got tattoos on his arms. This is why I said I thought I would be scraping the barrel to start with. So you can probably disqualify a few of these, and I'll still just about make the 10. Live at Eindhoven by Testament. Got a couple of upper arm tattoos here. Sleaze Bees, showed this on my Skulls video, but we also have an upper arm tattoo. Considering it's called Screwed, Blued and Tattooed, I was expecting there to be a ton of tattoos on these guys, but they let me down. Now this band doesn't let you down. I mean, if you're looking for tattoos on an album, so this is 6 AM, Nikki Sixx's post Motley Crue project, and one or two tattoos. In fact, more tattoos than skin on all three. Again, probably not a real tattoo, but someone actually tattooing. So this is Scorpions, Love at First Sting. Now on the back as well, scorpion being tattooed on the girl's leg. A very, very obvious one. Rose tattoo. And you can see. Said this before. This cover always freaks me out because this guy's arm, if you look carefully enough, it goes this way. But when I first saw it, it looked like his arm kind of went this way, and I have to double take just to make sure which arm is which. But there are plenty of tattoos on there for your viewing pleasure, Scott. Peaches showed this one. I've only watched a couple of the entries. So I've got a couple of duplicates, but Peaches showed the US Speak of the Devil album, whereas this is the UK version, which is Talk of the Devil, and obviously Ozzy with his dragon tattoo. Another borderline disqualification. It's a drawing, and the drawing has a tattoo on it. It's a Saxon rock and roll gypsy 12-inch single. Also, it's not an album, so you can disqualify that one. Another one that's not an album but an EP, but it's Lemmy. You can't disqualify any competition with Lemmy in it, and he has a tattoo on his forearm. This is the Golden Years live EP. Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. Not an album I particularly like, but Vince Neil supporting an upper arm tattoo there. First of all, I thought his front arm was sleeved in a tattoo, but it might just be grossly hairy. I'm not really sure. I can't say I've really looked out for Vince Neil's arms before, or his astute arms, but yeah, Girls, 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 not an album I say I play or particularly enjoy. I kind of gave up on them after Theatre of Pain. Another one which may or may not be real, probably not. So this is Sammy Kerr from the movie Trick or Treat. This is the Fastway soundtrack, and he has upper arm tattoos as well. I don't think he's got it over his chest, but I guess it's probably makeup because he's an actor. It's one of the stars on my birthday dig video. This is Fact as a Matter of Fact album. Got a large bird tattoo on here. Probably could have used this for Black Star Vinyl's competition as well, this birds competition, which I think is still running, so get your entries in for that. Easy Action, very, very early Swedish glam metal. I think this is the the first Swedish band to kind of make it out of Sweden. This is pre-Europe. We have an upper arm tattoo there. Dead Engine, Hold a Grudge. Again, one tattoo top right. I think you get a better view of it there, but only if you zoom in really hard. So I don't know if you were looking for particular inspiration from these tattoos, but some of these are fairly obscure and you can't really see them, they're hidden away. Again, this one's another very dubious one. So this is the Bad News album, and first of all I thought this was supposed to be a tattoo on Spider's arm, but it's clearly a drawing. But then on was it Vim Fuego, Adrian Edmondson's character. Now please look away if you are offended by vegetable genitalia. But if you look really closely at his knee here, there is a skull and crossbones tattooed, or to be honest with you, more likely biroed on his knee there. And last but not least, it's another drawing, but probably one of the fullest tattoos on there. This is Antique Scream. This is a stoner band, and yeah. They're drawn on, but then aren't all tattoos kind of drawn on? Okay, so I know that was about 20, but if you take away the ones that weren't albums and you take away the ones that weren't real, it probably comes out at about 10. But that's my entry for you, Scott. Congratulations again on your 150. You will be getting a ton more subs, I think, over the next few months. Great content, great wallpaper. Check out Scott's channel. Cheers.